Everybody, eyes up here.
You have failed this city.
Wow. I know, right? Hey! Quit messing around!
I'm not messing around. I'm doing important stuff.
Welcome. Okay. Gives you the right. What's the difference between you and me?
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
But that is being human.
Well, it took a while. It took a few days, but I finally got here. We finally got to a Watchtower this week. I apologize, everyone, for the delay in getting here, but we're here this week, and we have some things to talk about. Now, Superman is just less than a week away, so obviously we will talk a good bit about Superman, but there are some other things on the docket as well, from Supergirl to Batman to I'm sure more. I'm sure something else will come up, right? Right. Well, let's get into it. All right. Let's dive in to everything here. Now, I don't expect this to be very heavy with people joining in the chat, but I just wanted to get this show out there this week. I didn't want to miss a week. I mean, this is a big build up to the week. I hope everybody had a good 4th of July. Those of you who live in America, that was just the other day, but it is, as of recording right now, it is 11:30 at night Eastern time, so it is kind of late for me, at least on the East. So, hey, we're chugging along here, chugging along. Trayvon, always a pleasure to see you. He's 6 days away. I'm glad you can make it here today, buddy. Thank you very much. But let's get into it. I may or may not have somebody who pops in to give their opinion, but if they are able to make it, awesome. If not, I do apologize. They will be on next week, I'm sure, when we discuss Superman, probably nonstop all week next week for sure. But let's get into it, guys. Let's dive in. The first thing I want to talk about here is Supergirl. Now, Supergirl is reportedly expected to take center stage, make an appearance at a major Comic-Con this fall. Now, what's interesting is people have been expecting for something to come up at San Diego Comic-Con, which is just a few weeks away at this point. Superman comes out this week, 6 days away, as Trayvon said. So Superman comes out, and then Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con is just like 2 weeks after that, or not even like 14 or not even 14 days later. What is the, you know what? Let's look up San Diego Comic-Con. Look, we got the Google right at our fingertips. Why don't I just take a look at that to see the exact dates of when it is? But it is July 24th. So it's literally 13 days after Superman comes out, Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con begins. So a lot of people are expecting to see some kind of DC presence there. And I think I think that there's, I don't know if it's been discussed or not discussed, confirmed. That's what I'm looking for. Confirmed whether or not Peacemaker is supposed to make an appearance. But I think they're supposed to have some kind of panel for Peacemaker, since they're just about a month away from that releasing. So it makes sense that we'll see something for Peacemaker, but it's still very, very early for Supergirl, in my opinion, especially because I'm sure we've been speculating this for quite some time. I'm sure we're going to see something from her in Superman. There's no need to see anything from her for quite some time. Now, the fall, that makes sense. Get a little taste in the fall, but what Comic-Con could it be? Some are speculating that it could be New York Comic-Con. Now, when is New York Comic-Con this year? That is, I believe that's November, isn't it? So usually October. It's October 9th through the 12th. So October 9th through the 12th will be New York Comic-Con, which is actually, I think, in many regards, bigger than San Diego Comic-Con. Not from the standpoint of films and such, but it is a much bigger convention, and that could be interesting. Like, Marvel loves to take San Diego Comic Con, and they've kind of really lessened their uh, like input, or their attendance, I should say, when it comes to SDCC. But let Marvel have SDCC, and then DC should take New York Comic Con. That'd be interesting. That would be really interesting dynamic if they did something like that. I'm not saying they will, but that would be an interesting dynamic. Or, of course, what is it? CCXP is in December, and that is December 4th through December 7th this year. And that is still technically fall, guys. Fall ends December 21st. So that is technically fall. They could be talking about that as well, which would make a lot of sense as well. Now, my boy did make it. It is Derpy. How's it going, man?
I'm doing great, Slav. How are you?
I'm good. I apologize for this late show, but I'm glad you can make it.
I was passing out for about like 7 minutes prior to sending that link, but I made it.
Oh, good. But I'm talking about this Supergirl, supposedly going to be at a major Comic Con this fall. I just was talking about how this fall there's two major Comic Cons, which would be New York City Comic Con, which is in October, and then CCXP, which is the beginning of December. I'm leaning more towards CCXP making sense, because that would almost line up, as I was about to say, is that lines up with the marketing strategy that they had for Superman,
right?
Almost. But remember,
wait, isn't CCXP Brazil?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that would make more sense than that.
But Supergirl also comes out earlier than Superman does, or Superman did. So it would also make sense, like, okay, maybe they would start the marketing a little earlier, so October could make sense as well. I don't know. What are your thoughts there?
I feel like Brazil might be. I think they should do the same path that Superman did.
I agree. I do agree. I think the marketing has been really solid for Superman, and if they do it in December, if they decide to go now, there wasn't anything big at CCXP for Superman, but if they utilize CCXP as the catalyst to start, maybe they show the teaser there this year as opposed to just doing it on some random day like they did for Superman. Maybe that,
it'll get some noise talking.
Yeah, exactly. But it would be interesting to see for sure. We got some other people in here. Hungry Almighty says, look, I'll watch Supergirl, but I want Lanterns footage and Brave and the Bold release date. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to see that stuff. We're going to talk about Brave and the Bold in a little bit here.
Lanterns I'm really excited about Supergirl. I mean, I've read Woman of Tomorrow, and it's somewhat of a rough. If you don't like, it is somewhat of a rough comic, but it's a very visual, spectacular.
Visually, it is a very artistic visual comic. It is a beautifully drawn and artistic comic. Yes, hands down. The story is, I think that it's a solid story. It's not a terrible
story. It's a little bit rough though.
But no, again, I think that's
when it comes to like adult, you know what I mean, like adult.
But that's kind of why I'm excited for the movie, because I think because they're not adapting it verbatim, with right away we know that because of the addition of Lobo,
right?
Because
exactly.
Lobo isn't in there.
I'm excited for Jason Momoa as Lobo, man.
But yeah, I'm excited for Supergirl. Am I as excited for Supergirl as I am, or as I have been for Superman? No, but that could change after we see Superman. I could be blown away and like, just holy crap, I need to see more. So we'll definitely see what goes on here. But I gotta say, I'm excited because this is just the beginning, guys. Like, this is the beginning. We're gonna start seeing at comic conventions from here on out. DC Studios is going to be showcasing some sort of project here moving forward, and that is exciting. DC's back, guys. It's finally back, and that's exciting. All right, what are we seeing over here? Stephen Coakley says, Doesn't Lanterns come out before Supergirl? I could be
No.
wrong.
Supergirl comes out before Lanterns.
Supergirl comes out June. Lanterns, I think they're shooting for either the end of June or July. I think they're shooting for next year. I think it's the same time frame, but I think that's what they're shooting for. I think they may not have even set a date. I remember hearing something or reading something, I should say, that Gunn was saying about that. Hungry Almighty Supergirl is a good character, but making the second movie of the new DCU Supergirl is a risk. It's like if they made a Batman movie as the first movie and the second movie is a Nightwing movie. Actually, I'd be totally down for that personally. But I get your point, Hungry. I do get your point.
It is a risk, but that comic is such a good comic and it's such a good story. WB's willing to take the risk on Supergirl.
Trayvon says, just watched Zach reveal he saw a Superman movie when James Gunn had him in DC Studios offices and he supports the movie. The call would crash big time. That would be hilarious if that happened. But I doubt it's going to happen, but it would be hilarious. I'd love to see it. What I think would be hilarious if Henry Cavill came out and said something, but that will never happen. Not one bit. All right, guys, we got to talk about this. We've been talking about DC as a whole, and we're excited about what's to come.
I'm behind it.
James Gunn recently said during one of those little interview things, interviews that they had after a viewing of Superman, stated that Adria Arjona, I'm terrible. You guys know that. He says Adria Arjona would make a great Wonder Woman. Now, I want to point something out here. Him saying that doesn't mean that she is going to be Wonder Woman, but
she would be a fabulous Wonder Woman.
I feel like this is kind of something like when you say that, James, you need to have her at least now come in and, test for
audition,
it. Yeah. She now needs to test for it. If you didn't already have her test for it, if you haven't already started that process, not saying they have or they haven't, but at this point, she's going to have to test for it. She's going to have to at least be in the conversation for it. She is a fantastic actress. I mean, she's blown up over the last couple of years for sure.
But isn't she part of Andor?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was fabulous in Andor.
What's that?
She was fabulous in Andor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And she was in that one movie with what's his face? He's kind of blown up big right now too. People wanted him as Batman at one point. Hitman, but what's his name? I can't remember.
Glenn Powell?
What's that?
Is it Glenn Powell?
Yeah, Glenn Powell. Yeah. With Glenn Powell. She held that movie together because that movie was not good. But she is on the rise right now, and they need to lock her up. Is kind of what I'm getting at. If they want to utilize her, if they want to, they need to lock her up quick. Is she the best choice? I'm not going to say she's the best choice. There could be someone better. And that's the thing about what James Gunn has been saying for quite some time. And he's been saying that in these interviews lately in regards to Superman with David Corenswet and Nick Holt with Lex Luthor. He's been saying these types of things like, look, you're not going to get the best actor for the role necessarily. You're going to get the best actor, the best performing actor, the best actor in the world. You're going to get the best actor who fits the role best. And that's what they did. He would joke around with David Corenswet and say, well, Nicholas Holt's a better actor than David Corenswet, stuff like that. And he jokes around about that. But in a way, yes, he's joking around, but he's also not wrong because you have to go that direction sometimes because not every actor can play every role. And Adria Arjona, she is a great actress. But how are they going to write Wonder Woman? How are they going to have Wonder Woman portrayed in the DCU? How are they going to want Wonder Woman to be on screen? Are they going to want her to have a bigger presence than Batman or Superman? Are they going to want to have her this really empowering type of leader? Because I don't think Adria Arjona can do that. Not saying that she can't, but I haven't seen anything from her that could do that. But if she was playing more of a third fiddle or somebody behind a David Corenswet or whoever the Batman's going to be, then yeah, absolutely, I could see that. I can see that happening. But if she's going to have to be this leader in front of them or alongside them, then that's kind of where I'm kind of maybe she's not the right choice. Regardless, though, yes, I think she would be good as a Wonder Woman. I think she'd be really good as a Wonder Woman. I think she's got the talent, she's got the look, she's got everything down. She's got that otherworldly, that look to her, which I think Wonder Woman needs to have now, and that's kind of thanks to Zack Snyder for making that now a thing.
I'm hoping they go back to the classic Wonder Woman though, like the golden age classic one.
They may do that. I don't know, but regardless, I think they need to first focus on what kind of Wonder Woman they want, which they're writing the Wonder Woman script, so we know they have an idea for that. So James may already have kind of an idea, like, this is kind of what I'm looking for. So he and whoever the director is going to be eventually can sit down and say, look, this is kind of what I'm looking for. What do you think, director? And director can say, yeah, this is kind of what we're looking for. Okay, let's find actresses that are like this. And then they go from there. And she may not fall in line with that. So I personally, I like her. I think she's a great actress. I just want people to temper their expectations because it may not be her. Same thing that goes on with Brandon Sklenar with Batman. It's kind of like, he may not fit what they want for Batman.
Exactly.
I think he'd be good, but maybe they want a Jake Gyllenhaal. Maybe they want somebody else. Like, we don't know. That's kind of the thing. So we'll see. But I don't think it's a bad choice. I just think it's kind of like, hey, one, if you say this, James Gunn, you're almost going to have to give her an audition. Two, she's on the rise. So if this is the kind of direction you're going to want to go with, you got to lock her up quick. And three, make sure this is the kind of direction you want to go with and not just hire her because of who she is and that she's on the rise. Get the right character or the right actor for the character. That's what I'm saying.
I think they're going to base this new Wonder Woman off what's that book called? The Amazonians? Isn't that the new one that came out like a couple years ago, like 3 years? Amazonians. It's like based off the history of I think it's based off the history of Themyscira. Unless they're gonna base that off the
Amazons, the trial of the Amazons. No,
it's like a history of the Themyscira, like with all the gods and stuff.
My fingers don't want to work. I'm not seeing anything.
I'm basically they're probably gonna make a rough, like, kind of like in the story of what the Supergirl. Basically, they're gonna make it more adult, more than the classic version. Maybe like the previous version of Gal Gadot had. But
Steve Cockley just said, "Did you see James Mangold started writing Thing? Are you talking about Swamp Thing? I'd love to. Yeah, tag me in that too."
Paradise, never mind. It's Paradise Lost. That's what the book's based off.
Okay, I've heard of Paradise Lost. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't. Mangold writing Swamp Thing. Is that what you're talking about, Steve? Because
now that's the question. Who's gonna be Swamp Thing?
Well,
there's so many, like, Swamp Thing's tough to do.
No, not at all. Did you watch that show a couple years ago?
I meant from
an acting standpoint. No, they did a really good job a couple years ago. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, I thought they did a really good job there. Yeah, I think it was really good. But I honestly sit there and think that it's going to be, they need to, if they're going to go the horror route with it, they need to really stick to that tone and just go with it, because that's going to be what really makes or breaks that movie or that project. Real Anarchy says, I think she would be absolutely perfect. I got a feeling she's already on his radar, just like Millie was for Supergirl. Oh, I'm sure. Steve Cockley says, if I'm saying your name wrong, Steven, I'm sorry. I'm terrible with names, so I'm sorry. Steven says, who do you think should direct Wonder Woman? Get Patty Jenkins. I'm kidding.
No.
I'm kidding. I'm
No.
kidding. I'm kidding. Honestly,
I like. Who did Barbie?
What'd you say?
Who did Barbie?
Oh, that's crap. What's her name? It's right there.
Greta.
Greta.
Right?
Yeah, Greta. Greta Gerwig. There we go. What just fell? Yeah, Greta Gerwig. That actually would not be a bad idea at all. I mean, she's in the Warner Brothers family already, or has been. And look what she did with Barbie. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Can she do big action films? I don't know. Has she ever done a big action film? I don't know.
She did Barbie and made over $1 billion.
No, she's never done anything like that. So
she made Barbie that made over $1 billion, Slav.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. But yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting. It's not a bad choice. I think they should go with probably Zack Snyder. No. Oh man, and I haven't really ever thought about that. Yeah, Trayvon asks, have you seen Zack Snyder Cultist brought up the Daily Beast review? We're going to talk about that in a little bit, so don't worry. Smacky says, do you think Batman will has his dog Ace?
I would love that.
I mean, hey, if we got crypto, why the heck not, right? Why not?
Right.
Glimmercast is here. Says, great job on the panel the other day. Hey, that was, give all the credit to Real Anarchy on that. He did a heck of a job with that panel. I was just there for the ride, and I got to say, I am honored and privileged to have even been a part of a panel with those many great people on there. But yes, it was a lot of fun. Let's see. Who else do we have? I still don't, Steven, if you have something with that, Mangold started writing Swamp Thing, I'd love to see it.
The person I would like to be Swamp Thing, I don't know, he would probably play Joker too.
Crazy Joe's concession stand says Dick Dirk was a great Swamp Thing. He also says, love to see Patty Jenkins come back. Kevin Durant would be my choice for Swamp Thing. Is
Kevin
from
Durant?
Rio Anarchy. What's that?
Who's Kevin Durant? Can you pull it up?
Kevin Durant. Oh, Kevin Durant.
No, not Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant.
The actor that he just said.
Yeah, I know. I'm not pulling up the basketball player. Don't worry. Kevin Durant. He's the he was in a whole bunch of stuff. He was in Clown in a Cornfield, which got a bunch of crazy reviews. He was the one monkey in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff. He's a good actor. Really good actor. Character actor. Really good character actor. Yeah. He's one of those people when you see on screen, you're like, oh, I know that guy, but you don't know his name. He's one of those actors, you know?
See, you want a guy that's innocent for Swamp Thing, though. Like, you want a really innocent guy, actor. That's just up and coming.
Oh, yeah. Amari reminded me that Vincent D'Onofrio said he would love to play Swamp Thing. Yeah, that is right. That would be cool. I would like to see Vincent D'Onofrio. I like D'Onofrio. I do like him.
I was thinking Skarsgård, but I don't know.
Which one?
That's the question.
Rio Anarchy
either Alex or Bill.
Yeah. Rio Anarchy says Chad Stahelski would be my number one pick to direct Wonder Woman. That's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. I like that one. Rio Anarchy says, thank you. That was fun. It was a group effort about the panel the other day.
Or they could just get Jack O'Connell back and do him as a Swamp Thing.
Yeah. Glimmercast says Kevin Durant was as close to playing Joker as we could hope to see for now. Glimmercast in Clown in a Cornfield. Yeah, I'm telling you, go watch that. It's crazy. Clown in the Cornfield. All right, let's move on to the next thing I want to talk about here, which is James Gunn says he expects to read not one, but two scripts featuring Batman this year. And this is coming via the Omelette. So people are taking this as obviously Matt Reeves' Batman Part 2, and The Brave and the Bold. But the question is, if that's the case, if he's going to read two scripts, we know Matt Reeves is writing one of them. Who's writing the other script? Now, we talked about this just last week. There's some people who think that there's no writing going on for The Brave and the Bold. Nobody's writing The Brave and the Bold. There's nothing going on at all.
Give me a second, Slav.
Okay. So the question is, if that's the case, if he believes that he's going to read another script, who could be writing it? And I kind of alluded to this and brought it up the other day. And there's some people that really believe that Drew Goddard is probably writing Batman Brave and the Bold. And that's a possibility. He name dropped him during his recent interview stint where he's like, oh, I talked to Drew Goddard and picked his brain for Superman and he helped me with stuff. Like, that's kind of weird to specifically name drop someone like Drew Goddard. Because honestly, like, we've seen pictures with him and Zack Snyder. We've seen pictures with him and plenty of other people within the comic book and movie realm. But you name drop Drew Goddard. And that's the interesting aspect about it. Now, for those of you who may not know who Drew Goddard is, I decided to pull this up because he has done quite a bit of writing in his lifetime. Now, I'm going to go back to all the way back to the early 2000s where he helped write Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, Alias, and then he jumped into things like Cloverfield. He's stuck with TV with Lost. So you can see he was kind of in that J.J. Abrams mix there for a while as well. He then did Cabin in the Woods. Now, yes, he was with Josh Whedon for a little while there, which, I mean, come on. Josh Whedon was the talk of the town back in the late 90s, early 2000s. He had his hands on a lot of things back then. And Drew Goddard, hey, he was working there with him. So he was a heck of a screenwriter and writer back then, I should say. World War Z, he did the screenplay for, which not something he should be proud of, I should say. But then a huge film, The Martian. Then he helped write The Defenders, Bad Times at El Royale, the Daredevil TV series, High Potential, and then he has some upcoming things that are coming out soon. So he's got his hands in quite a bit. All right. So would he be the right man for this? Well, he's played in comic book areas before. He's played in world building before. I think this would not be a bad idea. He's worked with a really good storyteller, somebody who has fun playing in a sandbox of things with J.J. Abrams, with Josh Whedon. He's played with more serious tones like The Martian and World War Z. He's played, like I said, in the comic book areas with the Defenders and Daredevil. He knows that kind of stuff. He knows that area. I think this would be a really good get if it is Drew Goddard. Now, there's no confirmation. This is not saying this is what's happening. He could just be a guy that James Gunn trusts. He may just trust him. But I think this would be a really good get for Batman. I think this would be something that would be cool for Brave and the Bold. And honestly, would be probably the best case scenario at this stage to get this script moving forward. I don't know. Now, I don't know if you heard everything there while you were away, but I was talking about who could be writing The Brave and the Bold, and I brought up Drew Goddard and kind of went through his little bit of history here on what he's done, all the way back to Buffy the Vampire Slayer, to Cabin in the Woods, to World War Z, Lost, Daredevil, The Defenders, everything. And I think that he would be a great get if it was him. What do you think, Derpy?
That's a good, that's a very good biography of filmography.
Yeah.
Especially the horror type. Yeah, I'd be down for it. I'd be down for
again, I just think that for Brave and the Bold to have this mix of success. I mean, honestly, look, from Daredevil, he wrote 39 episodes. That's pretty much the entire series. Defenders, he only wrote one episode. Buffy, where's that? Buffy the Vampire Slayer, 22 episodes. 22 episodes of Angel. He's got this ability to, like I was just saying, to write within a sandbox of things. Like he understands from the comic side to a sandbox, to write in a crazy movie like Cabin in the Woods, which is such a fun movie. If you've never seen Cabin in the Woods, watch Cabin in the Woods this weekend. It is so much fun. To The Martian, which is such a fun film. Like it is. I don't know how much you know about The Martian. The Martian is such a cool story. How that movie got to become a movie. It's such a cool story, and it's a good movie too. But to The Martian, there's so much coolness, and like to his credits, there's so much that's cool there. But I think he would be a great get. Again, there's no confirmation, but I think it would be a cool get for sure. Now, some people here say, what are we saying here?
Now, who would direct it though? That's I mean, I don't want. Andy Muschietti is still there, but like I don't know if I want him directing it.
Well, Muschietti, I'm now on the side where I don't think Muschietti is going to be doing anything with the Batman Brave and the Bold. Okay. I think he's pretty much done and gone. He's not going to be there. It'll be interesting to see who they get. I'm not sure, but I don't think it's going to be Muschietti. Yeah, I have no idea. Zack Snyder. I'm kidding. I'm going to just say that for everybody. But for every movie. I mean, but honestly, I
got someone, but it might be out of left field because of his last film.
Who's that?
Rami.
Oh, no. I don't.
Yeah, like I said, from his last film. Yeah.
I don't think he could do that. I don't think he could.
It's just because his horror element. That's why.
Crazy Joe says, I hope they get Christina Hodson to write Brave and the Bold. Let's look at Christina Hodson.
Let's look at that.
Yeah, let's see.
As long as it's not Jensen Ackles, I'm good. I mean, everyone wants him as Batman, but I'm just...
So Birds of Prey.
Popular.
Birds of Prey, The Flash, Bumblebee. So you lost me there.
You lost me at Birds of Prey.
So 5 total. Shut In, Unforgettable, Bumblebee. Bumblebee was a lot of fun. Bumblebee was
fun, yes.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best Transformer films that we've had. Birds of Prey, I actually enjoy Birds of Prey for what it is. I'm not going to
watch 20 minutes of it, dude. I could not watch it.
I'm not going to say it's fantastic or amazing, but it's just like, it's fun. I think it's fun. Flash, I enjoyed. I thought the story was good. So I'm going to sit here and say, like, I think she's good.
Ewan McGregor does carry Birds of Prey, I'll say.
Yeah, I think she's a good writer. I mean, those last 3 movies she did, I think were fine. Story-wise, I think they were fine, but I don't think I'd want her doing Batman. Like, I think, like, right. From that little bit there, I don't think she'd be right for Batman. I'm not saying that she can't play in DC again. I just don't think for Batman. Critic Chris says, "Hey Slav, didn't think you'd be on." Oh, trust me, it was a hard journey to get here today, but I got here. You only missed.
Actually, I wish you would do Batman.
What's up?
The writers from Rogue One and Andor.
Who wrote? Oh, I can't think of his name. I can't think of who wrote. Why can't I think? Tony Gilroy. You want Tony Gilroy?
Because his approach is more adult-like than both stories.
Yeah, Tony Gilroy. I guess. I don't know.
But that's just me.
Maybe. I don't know. Crazy Joe says, I seriously miss Josh Whedon. Yeah.
You take that back, Donovan.
Jordan Vargas says Sam Raimi could be a good candidate to write Brave and the Bold. No,
he wouldn't write it. I'd rather just see him direct it.
I don't think
his writing is
a Raimi fan. I just don't think he'd be right for anything with Batman, honestly. Now, he'd be good for like a crazy horror flick in the DCU, absolutely, but not Batman.
Not Batman.
No.
Who did Aquaman?
James Wan? Or who wrote it?
James Wan. Yeah.
who wrote Aquaman.
Didn't he direct? Who direct James Wan, right?
James Wan, yeah.
He wouldn't be a bad option for Brave and the Bold One.
Yeah.
Just because of the action.
Hungry Almighty says, to be fair, it's not Muschietti's fault on what happened to the Flash. His hands were tied because of Ezra, so I don't mind giving him a second chance. I felt the same way, but I don't think they're going to. And I don't think it's because of the Flash movie they're not going to give him a second chance. I just think that Muschietti has got so much on his plate right now that it's kind of like he's moved on because of how long it's taken to get to that. And, I think that's kind of what's happened. I mean, it's no big deal. It is what it is. Where's anybody else here? Anything good to say? Soul Survivor Studio says, why not Raimi for Batman? Look, I'm a huge Raimi fan. I think what he did for Spider-Man was great. I mean, he really, him and Bryan Singer set off what eventually became the superhero comic book boom of the late 2000s and where we got to with Endgame and Infinity War Endgame and everything like that. Like, if it wasn't for Raimi and Singer in 2000 and 2001, we wouldn't be where we were in 2019. So I give him so much credit because the first Spider-Man 2, fantastic films, hands down. But take a look at what he then did with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And I know a lot of people are going to sit there and say, well, they kind of had to rush him into it and blah, 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 this and that. Well, it was not a good movie. He was not the right man for that movie. First of all, I love Sam Raimi. I do. I mean, from Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, all that kind of stuff. Like, I love what he creates. But a Batman movie, first off, action. Raimi doesn't have action. Like, look at the little bit of action in those Spider-Man movies. It's not bad, but it's not like Batman's action is much different than Spider-Man action. Look at what's, Doctor Strange. There's like no action in that at all. Like, that little fight when it came to Wanda and the Illuminati, like, it was crap. There was like nothing. It was bad. So I'm all for Raimi doing something in DC, just not Batman. Just not Batman. So I don't know. There's more to it than that, but just not Batman.
How about Michael Doctrine?
So Glimmercast says Raimi for Batgirl. Again, I could see, like, it's kind of falling in the same thing. Here's the thing. Raimi would be good for a grounded character. Right. A grounded character, a grounded story, something that is not as fantastical. And I want this DCU Batman. Personally, this is what I want. I want my DCU Batman to be more fantastical than we've seen. So I want it, if they're going to ground this Batman, maybe he would work. But I want it to be a little more fantastical. So give me
Oracle. Or give me
Oracle. Like an Oracle movie where we just see somebody sitting in a wheelchair the whole time. I don't know. I mean, we could go on and on forever about this, but
Taryn Fisher. No, I'm joking.
Jeez. And maybe that we should do a show one time where we just like pick, like, we'll come up with like 10 directors and we'll just throw it in the chat and we'll just say, okay, let's pick what movie we want these directors to make in the DC. That'd be a fun little thing to do.
Yes, that'd be cool.
Be fun. All right. Next thing I want to talk about is this here. If it wants to work, maybe it's reload it a bit. So I know you probably can't hear it. What?
I read some of this stuff that basically Tyler
said
something to him.
Yeah, so David Corenswet says Henry Cavill and Tyler Hoechlin have voiced their support towards him as Superman. Basically, what Corenswet says is, I had the pleasure of exchanging letters. They really just conveyed to me an encouragement. I'm excited to meet them one day. It'll be great. All right. So what I want to show.
Critic with the bold statement right there, Slav.
What? Would Affleck care to direct Brave and the Bold?
That is a bold statement in 2025.
I don't think he would. So, anyways, so here I know you guys can't hear it because I pulled up the wrong thing. So he says, I had the pleasure of exchanging letters with previous men, Cavill and Hecklin.
I don't hear. Nobody hears it.
Yeah, he says they're not going to give him any kind of tips, and that's pretty much it. Like that's all he says. Like and then he goes, I think that's a very Superman thing. He's not there to give him tips. People are trying to sit here, and I'm going to say this: people are trying to sit here and twist this into them saying, Corenswet got encouragement and got a pat on the back and go man from Cavill and from Tyler Hoechlin. Well, that's not really it. Like they just were kind of. It seems like they probably were just like, hey man, make it your own, do your own thing, and that's probably about it. It wasn't like, yeah, man, you're going to crush it. Go for it, man. Yeah. Like, that's kind of what some people are trying to make it seem like. If you read this headline, it says, Corenswet says Cavill and Hoechlin have voiced their support towards him as Superman. Well, no, like that's not really what he says in this whole clip at all. He just says, hey, I exchanged letters with them and they just said, hey, make Superman your own. Like that's what happened here. So, and the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because there's always this. I always make a point to point out when the one side of the fandom will sit there and make throw in misinformation out there and say things that are wrong. I'm not saying this is a bad thing because it's exciting to see that Corenswet reached out to Cavill and Hoechlin and possibly to other Supermen in the past, but this is kind of misleading. Let's put it out there. This is a little misleading. Sure, he talked to them and they gave him some advice, but it wasn't anything like, yeah, you're going to crush it, man. I'm looking forward to it or anything like that. It's just like, hey, they gave him some advice. And that's all it really was, at least from Corenswet's mouth right there. So it's nice to hear, but I think some people kind of ran with this in the wrong direction. That's all I want to say about that.
I think they're salty. But hey, we've moved on, so for the good.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so let's move on to the big story of the week, because let me tell you, this wasn't my plan to talk about this week, but well, it kind of dropped the other day, and we kind of had to talk about it. We can't ignore it. Now, I'm not going to show the review, so don't worry, guys. I'm not going to show it because I don't want to spoil anything. I've told you in the past, I'm not going to spoil this movie for anybody. This is not what my channel is about. It's not how I am on Twitter or anything like that. So I'm not going to spoil the movie. I'm not even going to scroll down here just in case there's anything that is in this that might spoil the movie for anybody watching or listening. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to spoil this for you, because I know there's people out there that don't want the movie spoiled. But I am going to slightly talk about some of the things that happened here. Okay. Now, I did read the review. I read the review.
I did not.
The review came
terrible.
out and it dropped. It was on Thursday. It was like, I think was it Wednesday night or early Thursday morning it dropped? I can't remember what it was. And it was up for, like 30 minutes?
So my question is, was it as depressing as the Man of Steel movie?
Not according to the review, no. But when it dropped, I didn't catch it when it dropped. All right, because like I said, it was only up for a very, very, very short amount of time. I did find, I did some digging, and I did find the review on the Wayback Machine, and I found it and I read it. It does. I'm going to forewarn you: if you don't want to be spoiled, don't go looking for it. It is full of spoilers. Keep
a minimum, Slav.
I'm not spoiling anything. Don't worry. But what I'm going to say is, this review should not have been dropped. Number one, it shouldn't have been.
Who the heck is Cosmic Book News?
Well, it wasn't Cosmic Book News that dropped it. It didn't drop from them. Cosmic Book News is basically just reporting on the early leak. That's all they did. Okay.
Wasn't it like Beast something?
It was from the Daily Beast. Okay. So the review came from the Daily Beast from a reviewer named, where is it at? I can't find his name.
That sounds like a review bomb.
I can't find his name.
Behind the name. That doesn't even sound like a legit.
Here, let me
reviewer.
do this. I have his name here. I just want to make sure I don't spoil anything. Can't find it now. Daily Beast. Can't find his name. Anyways, regardless, it doesn't matter. Now the guy that did it, he titled the review, "The terrible new Superman movie is the final nail in the grave for the superhero genre." That's what he said. Okay. Oh, and we got this. We got Patrick Ollinger here says, "Hello, love your channel." Thank you very much, Patrick. Resident Justice says, "I've spoken to 3 people who've already seen the film. Out of 3, 1 person found it disappointing. The other 2 really enjoyed it." I actually talked to somebody also who saw it, and I'm going to tell you all what he said later. Don't worry. Anyway, so basically, it was up. So the review was up for 5 minutes before they took it down. And
5 minutes left?
5 minutes. Yeah, it was up for 5 minutes.
That's a record.
So they took it down, and the review was like, I mean, it made the movie out to be bad. But here's the thing. This guy, I pointed this out on Twitter, and some people kind of shockingly ignore this aspect of it, because it's shocking to me that they ignore this. So this reviewer, come on.
Wait, he said Sinners was bad?
Yes, but it's not just Sinners. Hold on. Where the heck is it at? Here it is. All right. I'm going to pull this back up. So I said yesterday, I got a chance to read the leaked Superman review from the Daily Beast. The review was written by Nick Skate. It's supposed to be Sager or Shagger or something like that. There's supposed to be an R there. It said, which, if you don't know, doesn't have a great track record in being in line with how the audience aligns with film. So what I did was I read that review, and I was like, wow, that's bizarre. I then did some research on this guy. I went and looked at his reviews on Daily Beast. I even went back into history and Googled his reviews to go back even further than when he was just with the Daily Beast. He was
in Minecraft.
He was with Yahoo News. He was with different things. Like, he was with different companies. And I was looking at some of his reviews with other films and realized that he doesn't really align with how the audience feels about a lot of films. Number 1. Number 2, Minecraft, Sinners, and Final Destination, he all said were crap. All 3.
Yeah, and they made $1 billion for Minecraft.
All 3 of them happen to come from what studio? Warner Brothers Discovery. This 4th one, Superman, that he says is crap, happens to be underneath Warner Brothers Discovery. Maybe there's some animosity. Maybe there's a reason why. I couldn't find a connection in any regards to that, but that just seems a little funny. Seems a little funny there. The review is pretty sloppy in its writing. It really is. Like, when I was reading it, it was kind of hard to follow. And at first, like, I had to reread things a few times to fully understand what he was trying to say. And the fact that he's been doing this for like more than a decade was kind of shocking. So, take that as you will. He then says that Thunderbolts was great and that it was like, bringing comic book movies back to form. And he loved Captain America, Brave New World. But now he's saying that Superman is the final nail in the coffin for comic book movies. You see what kind of writing he's doing here. It's really weird.
Somebody doesn't read comics.
So when, what I tell people all the time is, you can read reviews, you can take reviews as you want, but don't just read one review. I've always said that, like, when you read a review, read it, get their point of view, read another one. But ultimately, what you need to do is see the movie yourself, right? Like, that's what you should do. Now, our buddy, RJ, posted this from a guy named Mike Ryan from Blue Sky. Blue Sky. I know it's Blue Sky, people. I just like to call it Blue Sky because it's funny. In my opinion, it's funny. He says, I'm going to get in trouble for this, but that leaked review, good God, I couldn't disagree more. Now, this guy, I believe RJ said, is somebody from Uprocks. He's a critic for Uprocks. So you have a guy from Daily Beast, says it's not good. You have a guy from Uprocks, says it's good. Then we have this. He goes, Brian Hyatt says, without saying anything else, Mike's right here, talking about this guy here, Mike Ryan. So he's saying, this Brian Hyatt guy is saying he's right. So obviously it's good. He disagrees with the review from Daily Beast. And then we have
man, my boy Slav's been working, getting all this stuff.
and have Mike Ryan basically just saying, yes, exactly. You know, he's basically confirming that that the movie, it's the happiest I've walked out of a movie since Top Gun Maverick. You know, basically saying that kind of thing. So here's the thing, okay? We have what's that?
That's a lot of high praise. Top Gun Maverick was awesome.
But here's the thing. We have also seen, if you've watched any of these, you know, people talking to the cast and crew and James Gunn and everything over the last couple of weeks because of the viewing of the view that they're the showing they had of it with some pundits, you know how they all had like 5-minute interviews they got to do.
Yeah.
You know, that's where the whole James Gunn is racist against Indians thing came from, which is stupid.
That's the first to me.
So those interviews there, go watch those. I mean, there's dozens of them. There's what, probably 20 plus out there, maybe 30 more out there. If you look at those, every single one is saying this movie's great. I love the movie, great movie, loved it, awesome movie. So you have all those people saying great, and then you get this guy. Now, yes, there was then what was it? Variety posted something about the new what movie is it that's coming out that's a comedy that they're like, if you're looking for comedy, this is funnier than the Superman movie. It's like, well, why are they like, first off, can they even do that? I don't think that's allowed. But regardless, so then people are running with that, trying to say it's bad. It's out of hand. It's dumb. It's stupid. I don't know why people are doing it. It's ridiculous if you ask me. But here's the thing, okay? When it gets down to it, this movie is going to be successful. It's going to be good. It's going to have a lot of people talking. This one review isn't going to hurt it. It's not. Okay? It's not. It's not going to hurt it at all. Now, personally, I was told, and I have somebody who can vouch. I have a couple people who can vouch for me. Actually, if you guys know Superhero Cuts and Comic Cuts, who've had on the show before, it was actually Wednesday. Was it Wednesday?
Wait, they saw it?
What's that?
Did they see it?
No, they didn't see it. No, they didn't see it. But they can vouch for me that I got this reaction from another buddy of mine because I gave them a snippet of what I was told before this review came out. So this isn't like a reactionary thing. Like, this is something that somebody told me before that all happened. Now, let me pull it up here. I'm not going to pull it up because I don't want to leak the person's name or anything like that. That's not cool at all. I don't want to do that. Where's it at?
Slav.
What's that?
Leak it, Slav. Leak it.
I'm not doing that. Where's it at? Come on. I got to stop messaging people so much.
You're going to be one of the first persons I'm going to call after that movie. From a reaction standpoint on Tuesday. You're going to be like the very first one.
Oh, thanks.
Without spoiling, of course.
So here it is. A guy, girl, person. Yeah, guy, girl, person. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah. It says K. Superman is simply put awesome. It's fun, fresh, packed with heart, which I know you will like to hear because they know how I'm excited about it having full of heart and stuff like that. It is different from old Superman movies, especially Man of Steel, but it is because it is set in its own world and establishes itself as its own universe. They say, I feel this is a really strong start to the new DC universe. Everyone was abuzz walking out of the theater. I believe that DC is back. That is what they said. And I asked them not to tell me anything. I was like, don't tell me anything else. It's great to hear. I'm excited. Blah, blah, blah. We talked some more. But that is what I heard. Now, this person, I'm going to be straightforward with you. This person has been a huge fan of DC for quite some time, did not like the direction that DC was going in and for a number of years. I mean, since 2013. Like, they were not a big fan of Man of Steel and stuff like that. So they're happy to see what's going on here. They are somebody that does not live near me or anything like that. So, but yes, there you have it. That's what I've heard. Yeah, I mean, I look, take it as you will. You're going to hear things like this. You're going to hear things all around, whether it is a review like this, a review like this. There was nothing there, so you don't need to worry. There was nothing leaked there, or nothing not leaked, nothing spoilery there, or something like this. You're gonna hear stuff, but I mean, it is what it is. Like, just go see it yourself. Now, what does this mean for the box office? Because people are freaking out about the box office right now.
It's gonna do well.
Oh yeah, absolutely, it's gonna do well. But people are freaking out,
and nobody should be freaking out.
Well, they're freaking out because they're seeing, excuse me, what's going on with Jurassic World right now.
That movie was terrible. I walked out.
You walked out of it?
Yes.
Really? That's funny. So I have this here. People are freaking out. So that's it. Jurassic World Rebirth crossed the. I'm not sharing my screen. I should share my screen. Sorry. Jurassic World Rebirth crossed the 150 million mark at global box office and will crush industry projections this weekend. So 150 million mark at the global box office. We're now at Saturday. So that's counting Saturday money. So we're talking about Sunday now. Sunday money. They're looking at basically hitting the $300, maybe slightly more than the $300 million mark for the 5-day weekend. Okay. That's what they're talking about. 5-day, $300 million. That's what they're talking about. And people seem to think that because it made that much money in 5 days, that come next weekend, it's going to crush Superman. But how does that make sense? Now, I know some of you over in the chat, I'm sorry I haven't been paying attention to you guys over there. I apologize. There was somebody who asked, Jordan Vargas, what do you think Superman will make at the box office next week, considering Jurassic Rebirth is blowing up at the box office? Now, is Jurassic World blowing up at the box office right now?
No.
Jurassic World is doing solid at the box office right now.
Yes.
It is doing better than tracking. But to be fair, I've mentioned this many times, tracking cannot always be trusted. Tracking is a fun thing to talk about. It's a fun thing to speculate on. It's a fun thing to sit there and discuss and say, look at the tracking numbers. This could be great if it hits here, but you always kind of go and figure lower, but it could be higher. Look at Megan the other day. That's a great example. They were tracking it to be, what was it, like 50 to 60 million or 80 million, and it made 10 million. Like, tracking is a fickle beast, and it could be good, it could be bad. You just never really know. Jurassic World is another example of that. They were figuring that it could only hit 100 million domestically, and it looks like domestically it's going to hit around the 150 mark, which is, hey, good for them, awesome. So it's going to do better.
I think it hit the 150 mark because it was the July 4th weekend.
But exactly, let's not forget, it's the July 4th weekend, and people love dinosaurs. People just freaking love dinosaurs. And let's face it, the only other movie that it was really competing against this weekend
was F1.
And
I should have seen F1.
F1 is a good film, but F1 isn't drawing families into the theater. F1 isn't going to get your mom and your little brother into the theater. No.
Because they
Dinosaurs are going to get your mom and your little brother into the theater. It's that simple.
Even if it's the 7th film.
Exactly. Even if it's the 7th film in the franchise, it's going to get your mom and your brother into the theater, and maybe even your grandmother. Okay. But next weekend, you know what's going to get your mom and your little brother and your little sister and your grandma and your grandpa and your aunt and your uncle into the theater?
Play that theme, Slav.
I don't have that theme, but it's Superman. Superman's going to get them into the theater. It's not going to be just dinosaurs. Sure. I'm predicting that there's going to be a 55 to 60% drop for Jurassic World next week.
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to be a pretty hefty drop. That means you're looking at probably about $160 million less than what it made globally. $160 million globally less next week than it makes. So what are you looking at? Maybe it making $75 million domestically next weekend? That's not going to destroy Superman. It's not, but I mean, look, we could be wrong. We could all be sitting here and be completely wrong, and Superman could just underperform. That is a possibility. I'm not going to sit here and say that's not possible, but I don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening.
Many people, the marketing is unreal, and there's been so much buzz this summer about Superman. I don't see it not failing.
Yeah. It's true. Resident Justice says it takes forever to get to the damn dinosaurs and dinosaur action in the movie. That's what I've heard. I haven't gone to see it yet. My mom wants to take me. My mom wants me to take her.
That's how bad it was.
But
that explains the first 30 minutes. It took too much time to get to the dinosaurs.
Yeah. But when it comes to how much money Superman is going to make, I'm not shifting from my projection. My projection is between 120 and 130. That's my projection. Could it make a little more? Sure. But that's my own projection. That's domestically. I think globally, it probably could make,
I'm thinking 160, 165.
Globally, if we hit the 130 domestically, I think it could probably make like 275 globally. Its first weekend. But
that's perfect.
Yeah. I think that would be a perfect week, first week for Superman.
They earn the money back that they made for the budget, and
but we'll see. I mean, word of mouth. Like, let's first off, Monday is, if I'm not mistaken, Monday's the premiere.
Yes.
So Monday's the premiere, and then Tuesday the embargo drops completely. So everything drops Tuesday. Tuesday is the Amazon premiere. So you're talking about thousands of people seeing it on Tuesday,
which I will be a part of.
Wednesday, it's opening in other places. Thursday is the early screenings, which I'll be at. Friday, the movie comes out. So you're talking about nearly 4 full days where word of mouth is going to be able to spread about this movie.
Yes.
If this movie is good, which I fully expect it to be good, if it's good, that 120 to 130 I'm predicting, bump that up another $30 to $40,000, or $30 to $40 million. I'm sorry, easily, if the word of mouth is strong.
Even if it's a mid, it's still going to make a lot of money.
Yeah, very true. Resident Justice says something very, very accurate here. Jurassic will still make 800 to 900 million off the international box office alone. The dinos are bulletproof, and he's not wrong. I mean, I've been saying it for months. Dinos, they're gonna make their money. It's gonna make its money. Like, it's just going to. I mean, there's nothing to get around that. So, and the beauty about Superman coming out is that first week, it's gonna have a strong opening weekend. But that second weekend, it's all alone.
That's why you got to support it.
It's all alone that second weekend. And that's what's exciting. That's what's exciting. You got Real Anarchy who says, I think it's going to be 130 million domestic.
Okay.
It's not bad. That's what I'm saying. Let's see. Anybody else in here saying anything? What are you guys saying?
I think Chris is just a certified hater. Not Critic Chris, but this other guy.
Yeah. Chris. I'm not even seeing what he's saying. Resident Justice, congratulations. I'm proud of you. I'm excited for you.
Let's go.
You get to see it on Monday. And just a little bit jealous of you, but that's okay. I'm happy for you, man. I'm glad that you get to see it on Monday. Chris says, if it's mid, it's making no money. Only if it's good. No, if it's mid, it'll still make money.
It will still make money. There's too much buzz around it.
Resident Justice says, making a long drive out to see it on Monday, so I hope it's worth it. It'll be worth it, man. You'll enjoy yourself. And here's the thing. When you're going to a special event like that.
What, is he going to the premiere?
I'm not sure where he's going to see it. But when you're going to an event like that, you're gonna have this sense of like, holy crap, I'm seeing it before a lot of other people. The rest of the world, essentially, I'm seeing it before. So you're going to have this sense of like, this is crazy. So you're going to have that going for you. So regardless if you think the movie is good or bad, you're going to come out of it and just be like, man, that was such a fun time. That was such a fun time. So don't let the movie, if you've come out thinking the movie was bad, ruin that experience, because it is going to be quite the experience for you. But I know you're going to enjoy the movie. I know you're going to enjoy it. I just know you are.
You know who I am upset about seeing the movie early?
Who's that?
I sent to you two earlier.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
He's not even a DC fan. He's a Marvel fan, mostly. And he's getting to see it early. But, hey.
Hey, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Well, I know you're not the same person, Craig.
Yeah. RJ says, don't be jealous. I have to drive a long drive and come back home with little sleep. Yeah, well.
It's worth it.
It's worth it, man. It's worth it. And be careful driving.
We've waited.
Pull over and take a nap if you have to.
We waited 17 years, man, for a proper universe. 2008, Iron Man.
All right, guys. So, RJ says it's a screening. It's a public one. You just need to sign up for a pass. Technically, I shouldn't have signed up for it because I don't live there, but I did.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
I will be doing a show on Monday. I don't think I have anything scheduled Monday. So yeah, Monday I will be doing a show. So for those of you who get a chance to go see the movie early on Monday, if you are, have fun. But I will be doing a show Monday. It's my normal Slavs Free Talk podcast, but it is going to be Superman centric. I'm just going to tell you that right now because it's the build up to it. So get ready. And then the next Watchtower, guys, I think we're all going to have seen Superman by that time.
We're going to have a review for it.
I'm going to see Superman Thursday afternoon at 2 p.m. So Thursday afternoon, 2 p.m., I'm going to see Superman. And then that evening, Thursday evening, we'll be doing a Watchtower where we can talk openly and freely all about Superman. So
I'll be seeing it Tuesday night.
This next Thursday, we'll be doing it. So that's fun. I'm excited, guys. I'm excited. This is going to be great. It's going to be awesome.
Can you believe we're already here, Slav?
I can't believe it, dude. I can't. Like,
we waited 2 years.
Here, like it's crazy. Like I didn't think we'd have
one of Superman Legacy. Now she's Superman.
Oh man, it's crazy. Oh man. Patrick says, "Do you think Superman will do better than Fantastic Four?" Yes,
Yes.
I do. 100%, I do. I don't see the hype and excitement around Fantastic Four like there is for Superman. I don't. Jordan says James Gunn will amaze and surprise the audience once again with how great of a filmmaker he is. Totally worth seeing Superman in theaters. Absolutely.
Well, I can tell you this. Once I saw Guardians, I know most people don't like Guardians 3, but I loved it. I love the balance of it.
I thought it was 2 that people didn't like. I thought 3 everyone liked.
You might be right on that, but I love 3 because of the tone of balance. One direction you can go really dark, and then one you can go really lighthearted. You could show animal abuse. I'm just saying, like, you saw animal abuse in Guardians 3, and then you can go all the way into a lighthearted comedy relief of jokes.
Yeah,
and that's what you want for a film like Superman, regardless if there's humor or not. You want balance of tone.
Yeah, and he's good at doing that. So, all right, man. Well, thank you for joining me today, Derpy. Sorry it was so late. Sorry, everybody, that it was such a late show. But hey, we got it in. So, all right,
It's
everyone.
okay.
Thank you so much. And
Yes.
I will catch you all next week. Or, well, kind of in a day because it's already
Super
Sunday.
week. Super
Catch you.
week.
Yeah,
Slav.
super week. All right, take it easy.